FM. Our boys are joining the boys. Cowboys Training Camp, live from Oxnard, California. Jason Minix, the Blitz.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix out in Oxnard, California on a rather historic day. We are doing a training camp show, an NFL training camp show on NBA draft night. That has never happened before in the history of Earth, the history of sports, and certainly the history of ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. And we'll get your draft coverage taken care of. If you listen to halftime, hit the audio vault at sasportstar.com, and you'll get everything you need to know. We've got some sprinkles in there because we are loaded down here in Oxnard as our AA Best Bail Bonds Dallas Cowboys training camp coverage continues. Brought to you in part by Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds and Ewald Kubota. On the show today, we have Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott will join us in an hour. About the time he gets that cake out of his face. It is Dak's birthday. And boy, all practice, fans were singing him happy birthday. And then his teammates got him with a cake to the face. So he's got to go get cleaned up. Then he'll be on with us coming up at 5 o'clock. Tell your friends, Dak Prescott will be on the radio here at 5 o'clock. But before then, coming up at 4:30, Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner. He's here with the NFL Network. You might not recognize Kurt Warner if you were watching him on the NFL Network. That dude has grown a beard. I don't know if because I know he's got a movie coming out, and he's not in a movie. It's a story about his life. But all of a sudden, he's got the Dos Equis man beard that he's got going on. This beard, very, very, very strange. But Kurt Warner coming up at 4:30. Dak Prescott at 5. John McClain of the Houston Chronicle will be on at 5:30. Obviously, a lot going on with the Houston Texans and their quarterback situation. I mean, look, it's odd to see the Houston Texans in the national news. And it's unfortunate that when they're there, it's for all the wrong reasons. But I'll tell you what, one Randall Cobb, who was a Texan, now a Green Bay Packer, I think what Randall Cobb had to say in his arrival back in Green Bay, yesterday, Aaron Rodgers, in a 32-minute press conference where he was bitching about his boss, basically said, people only come to Green Bay to play with me. And I'm sure the Green Bay Chamber of Commerce, the Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce, probably not happy with those comments. But I'll tell you what, Randall Cobb is grateful to be back in Green Bay. I think when you hear what Randall Cobb had to say about the Houston Texans organization, he'd be happy to play anywhere.
I can breathe again. I've seen the other side, and I'm excited to be back here, and I'm excited. I'm smiling. It's funny. My teammates said, "You act like you just got out of prison." I said, "Well, I'm very, very, very excited to be here. And that's nothing against Houston.
It's everything against Houston. Pledge. I do not want to hear the rest of what Randall Cobb had to say there as he realized what actually came out of his mouth in a press conference, and then tried to backtrack and make everything look good. I think his initial reaction is what they are dealing with there in Houston. He's acting like he just got out of prison. He says he could breathe again. You talk about the toxic environment that the Houston Texans organization is right now. I think Randall Cobb hit it on the head. I mean, that initial answer to the question was pure and honest, and probably something that he would have said in the locker room or with friends. And as he was saying it to the media, Randall Cobb is a smart guy. He realized what he was saying, and then he backtracks at the end. Pledge, I don't know if you want to play the backtrack part, but it's not good. I mean, he cleaned it up a little bit and he tried to say they're heading in the right direction and things are changing. But when you start with, I feel like I can breathe again, and your friends are acting like you got out of jail, I mean, that man couldn't have been happier to get out of Houston. And the Texans, well, they do Green Bay a favor. And in some ways, the Chicago Bears do Green Bay a favor, which is weird because the Texans trade for a Bears wide receiver, and none of us could figure out why until obviously we found out that Aaron wanted a Randall Cobb back in Green Bay. And Randall Cobb, he gets traded for what, a 6, and the Texans are going to pay $3 million of his salary. Doesn't make much sense. If you're Houston and Green Bay is calling and saying, hey, we really need a Randall Cobb so we can smooth things over with our quarterback. Look, we're both going through quarterback issues. You understand what we're going through. Can you give us a Randall Cobb so we can make this guy happy? Oh, and by the way, will you pay $3 million of that ridiculous contract you signed him to? And he's acting like he got out of jail? I mean, that contract Randall Cobb signed, I don't care what environment you're in. You're the one stealing money. But your friends are saying you're acting like you just got out of prison. Houston is a mess. John McClain of the Houston Chronicle will join us coming up at 5:30 as we talk Houston Texans. The NBA draft is tonight. Woj has already ruined it. Cade Cunningham's going number 1 to Detroit. I mean, you probably could have guessed that. I don't know, the second Detroit won the lottery. But Woj just confirmed it. Adam Silver will announce it later because he's got to follow suit to make sure Woj isn't incorrect there. What are the Spurs going to do? And it's interesting because there is such debate on what the San Antonio Spurs need to do with that 12th overall pick. And James Pledger, you think about all the different mock drafts. Mm-hmm. There isn't a consensus guy or even a consensus 2 guys. And I think part of it is because the world doesn't have an idea of what these Spurs are going to do. And some of me thinks maybe the Spurs aren't sure. I mean, you know, I know it's cliche to say, do you just take the best player available? I mean, do you just, even if it's another guard, if that's the best guy, do you take him? Because, you know, our position of need is what it is. And yeah, we could stretch and maybe get that. I want a shooter that might have played for Gonzaga or a former Longhorn named Jones, since we're out here with the Joneses and he's going to buy all our beer tonight. I'm very high on anything named Jones today because he's taking us to Nobu tonight for a swanky party in Malibu. But I mean, you look at it, I mean, truly, if you're ever going to go best player available, and that's your philosophy, it's this Spurs team because they're part of rebuilding. And whether he ends up playing for the Spurs or becomes tradable, or because you get him, somebody else becomes tradable, that's what you do when you rebuild.
And what you say about not having a consensus, I think the closest thing to a consensus is Alperen Sengun, who the Turkish center. But I think that's more so just because the Spurs usually draft international guys. But the draft is usually when the Woj and this guy's coming up next tweets catch up, is because the Spurs are so locked tight on what you do. But yeah, you take the best player available because in the draft, you need to find a superstar, and especially being in San Antonio, you're not going to lure them with money most of the time. Other cities are going to have an advantage on you, so you have to draft your superstars. So you take whoever the player is that you think is going to be a superstar no matter what, because that's the most important way for a team like San Antonio to acquire a superstar, and then you build around him. If you want a shooter, Doug McDermott's going to be a free agent. He's probably better right now than Corey Kispert would be coming out of Gonzaga. So you go spend your free agency money on filling needs, and you draft who you think is going to be a talent.
When I hear probably better, why would I spend big free agent money when I can get rookie money and develop a guy? I don't want, when I'm spending free agent money, I want more than just a probably. I want to go, if I'm going to spend money and big money in free agency, and the Spurs have it, if it's not superstar star, if it's not, you know what I mean? There's so many ways to build the team, so many different ways that you could go, and we both might be right. They might draft a Kispert and get a McDermott in free agent because they do have the money to do it. It's hard to draft a superstar at 12. At 12,
Donovan Mitchell, Kawhi Leonard. I mean, there's a lot of guys that go later in drafts that end up being superstars.
Keldon Johnson, but when they were drafted, you didn't draft them going, this guy's going to be a superstar. I mean, if Kawhi Leonard, and let's go back to the guy's name that we don't ever mention unless we do because it slips out. If you go back to that guy who's fun, if you go back to that draft,
He's a fun guy.
Spurs trade George Hill to the Indiana Pacers to get him after Indiana took him at 15. Do you think if the Pacers thought he was going to turn in to one of the best players in the NBA, that they would have traded him for George Hill? No. And you look at all these other guys, you can find examples of guys that are drafted at 10, at 12. I look at Keldon Johnson. I mean, these Spurs are so fortunate that they got him at 29, and then they took a Luka at 19. I mean, there's a prime example of the Spurs' recent draft history of a swing and a miss and a home run. I mean, I think they got the picks right. They got the picks right, but in the wrong order. Well, how differently would we look at Keldon if he was taken 19th as opposed to 29? It's just one of those things. It's interesting because, this is an important night for the San Antonio Spurs. And I forget who tweeted it earlier, because I've been up since 2:45 this morning, California time, because I came with Rob and Rudy to the facility for R&R in the morning because they were having Mike McCarthy on and everything else that they needed the extra body. So I've been here all day. I feel like it's been 3 days in one. So I forget whose tweet I saw earlier today, but the tweet was something like, "Is this one of the most important days in Spurs history since?" And they gave some examples, and I'm like, no. I mean, maybe we look back on it in 3 or 4 years, but I don't know that this day and this draft pick is make or break for the future of this franchise. I mean, whoever the Spurs pick today likely won't play for Greg Popovich at the end of his rookie contract. And whoever ends up replacing Greg Popovich, whenever that is, what is he going to think of that guy? And so I want to get somebody that's going to help this team through the rebuilding process. And if it's best player available, if it's big, cool. Although I don't think one's going to be there. If it's one of the, honestly, I'll be 100% honest. Who did you say? The dude from Turkey?
Alperen Sengun.
So does Rob know how to say the guy's name? Because we were talking about this earlier, and that's not what he said. Are we talking about the same guy?
Yeah, because Carl says it like Shenguin or some kind of. There's like an SCH to it.
So is Carl Schoening right in the pronunciation? Is Rob Thompson right? Is James Pledger right? I have no idea. And it is the Spurs way to draft a guy from a country. At least I know where Turkey is. I've been to Turkey.
Ginobili.
Well, that's it. I mean, but you look at. Draft some guy from somewhere else with a name that you can't pronounce. But that was during the Big Three era, the draft and stash. Could the guy from Turkey come in and make an impact? I don't know. I mean, sure, maybe. But give me somebody whose, name I can pronounce.
Moses
that would make
Moody?
me happy. Sure. I mean, you look at it and you sit there. I know it's a big night. And maybe I'm wrong. I just don't think this night, this draft pick, I'm going to be excited or I'm not. But I don't know that this is one of those franchise-defining drafts because of where the Spurs are in the rebuild.
I think it's a franchise-defining draft just because you look at the overall depth of this draft. We've seen drafts where the top is not very strong, and you like take last year, for instance, where James Wiseman is one of the top picks and Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball, and then after that, it kind of falls off a little bit. And then you look at this year, and there's literally guys that could go anywhere from 6 to 16 because that's how deep the talent is in this draft. And if you can get somebody that develops like a Kawhi.
Would you be mad? Well, and again, it's all a big if. That's why I say, I mean, we won't know how big this draft is for a couple of years at number 12, right? And I'm fine with that. But I know Spurs Twitter is going to be kind of like Cowboys Twitter on Tony Romo with whoever the Spurs end up picking. I know Michael Jimenez from the Sunday Sports Grill, unless it's one or two guys, is going to be on suicide watch. I know if it's one of the guys that you don't love, you're going to hate it. If it's and I'm good with that. That's what drafts are for. It's fun, but it's not going to be one of those franchise moments for next year. I want a player that can be a part of the team and be useful next year for the San Antonio Spurs, not the Austin Spurs. An impact player. But I don't know that they're going to have that superstar player. And quite honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Spurs ended up being involved in some sort of trade. And there's a lot of trade rumors involving the Spurs. And I'm still trying to get used to that, because that doesn't generally happen with the San Antonio Spurs, but that's the old way of thinking. And this is the new Spurs, Spurs players that actually utilize their social media, and the Spurs are in a position with money, with potential players like a DeMar DeRozan that could be involved in a sign and trade, and other players. I mean, you've got an Olympian in Keldon Johnson. In my mind, the only guy that I don't think the Spurs should mess with trading, period. I mean, that's what it boils down to. It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Quarterback Dak Prescott. He's the birthday boy. It's Dak's birthday, and his gift, they're sending him through the media gauntlet. He's going to be on with us coming up at 5 o'clock. What is it? 4:15 now. So in about 45 minutes, Dak Prescott will join us here on the Blitz. But as we continue, Hall of Fame quarterback and NFL Network analyst Kurt Warner, he's here. We're going to grab Kurt Warner, visit with him as our AA Best Bail Bonds Dallas Cowboys Training Camp Coverage continues, brought to you in part by Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds and Ewald Kubota. Dak Prescott joins us at 5. Kurt Warner, he joins us next here on the Blitz. If you need your logo on any gear, you need to get into Sammy's Embroidery Club over on San Pedro. If you've seen me or Rob or Rudy out here at training camp with our new shirts with the San Antonio Sports Star logo on them, they came from Sammy's Embroidery Club. If you're a business owner, a manager, a club leader, you need your logo on shirts, on jackets, on caps, you need uniforms done, Sam's is the place to go. In fact, Sammy has over 700 uniform lines to choose from. Nobody has better prices. Sam has all the big name brands and is the only company in Texas with one-day turnaround. No order too small, certainly no order too big. And it's not just embroidery. He can do silk screen shirts for any occasion, whether it's for your employees, for a big event, a family reunion. Sam can get it done for you. Check the website, samsembroidery.com, or go visit that massive showroom down on San Pedro, 1 mile inside Loop 410, next to Big Lots across from McDonald's. All items do come with the warranty, and you'll work with Sammy on your project. He's the owner, and he's by his phone right now. Call him 210-824-3900, 824-3900 for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
They're the players you know and the players you're going to know.
Okay, we'll see what's about to happen.
Get the latest NFL news, moves, and more from Dallas Cowboys Training Camp. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
If you're shopping for a new vehicle, there's no better place to go than Ancira. Jason Minix here for Ancira Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram Truck. I can tell you firsthand how great Ancira is because I am a longtime Ancira customer, and it's because of how well Ancira takes care of you before, during, and most importantly, after the sale. That great customer service is why Ancira has been such a great family-run dealership in San Antonio for decades. They're going to make sure you're getting the vehicle you want with all the options and features that you're looking for. They'll give you great value on your trade-in, the best rebates and financing options that are available, and, of course, that great customer service. And price made Ancira number one. Price keeps Ancira number one. So think Ancira. Ancira Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram Truck, part of the Ancira I-10 Auto Complex on I-10 West between Wurzbach and Huebner.
I'm James Pletcher, and in college football news, Texas A&M's Board of Regents has recommended to their president by voting 8-1 to support SEC expansion by adding Texas and Oklahoma, who have officially requested SEC membership earlier this week. In the NFL, Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott did not participate in the team's first padded practice yesterday as he's dealing with soreness in his throwing arm. Prescott underwent an MRI that showed a muscle strain in his right shoulder, and he's considered day-to-day. Wide receiver Michael Gallup was also held out yesterday after tweaking his ankle in practice on Tuesday. Finally, in Houston, the Texans have traded wide receiver Randall Cobb to the Green Bay Packers in exchange for a 2022 sixth-round pick. The Texans will also pay $3 of his nearly $8.25 million salary. I'm James Pledger for San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
At Thomas J. Henry, our sole focus is to help injured clients rebuild their lives. If you've been hurt, don't wait. Start your claim today at tjhlaw.com/radio. That's tjhlaw.com/radio. San Antonio, Texas.
Looking for a protein-packed snack to power you through the day? Of course you are. Only Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds have the bold flavors that stand out in the Me Too snack aisle. Sea salt and cracked black pepper, pineapple ancho chili, pasilla chili cheese, and more. Take your snacking to higher flavor levels with Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds. And keto fans, you're going to love this low-carb crunch. Visit your local H-E-B and southernrecipesmallbatch.com to see the power of the rinds.
Southern Recipe pork rinds.
More people are driving than ever before. That means a higher risk of you getting into an accident. Call My Collision Center first. Our professionals use original, not aftermarket generic parts at no extra cost to you. Aftermarket parts will bring your vehicle's value down. Your safety and satisfaction is My Collision Center's top priority. We work for you. We provide a written lifetime warranty and invoice verifying parts are factory original. If you have an accident and you want factory parts at no extra cost to you, choose My Collision Center.
Golfers, it's time to tee it up at the reopening of Edwin Watts. We've weathered the storm, and now we're open. Come visit our newly remodeled store featuring GC quads in every hitting bay. Check out the new arrivals from all the top brands like Ping, TaylorMade, Titleist, and Callaway. Edwin Watts has the largest selection of shoes, bags, balls, apparel, and more in stock. Swing by our newly remodeled store and get custom fit for free today. Edwin Watts is the home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Running a business comes with pressure. Remote workforces, HR compliance, retaining top talent. You start to feel boxed in. Fortunately, there's Insperity. They put 30-plus years of HR service and technology to work, offering my employees competitive benefit options while lightening my HR load. Instead of obstacles, I'm surrounded by people empowered to be their best. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2021 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
Leave it all on the field. Not. This is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Welcome back to the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix in Oxnard, California for our AA Best Bail Bonds Dallas Cowboys Training Camp Coverage. And as we continue, we have Hall of Famer Kurt Warner joining us now. He's now with the NFL Network, coming out to Oxnard to look at the Dallas Cowboys. So let's start there, Kurt. Appreciate the time. As you come out here, what are your expectations for the Dallas Cowboys and Mike McCarthy's second season?
Well, that's always a funny question, because I think for 20 years now, we've had numerous seasons where we go, man, on paper, this team should be really, really good. This team should compete for a championship. And if you look at this team on paper again, you would say the same things. Obviously, starting with their offense. You get your quarterback back, who was on a record pace last year. You got those three weapons on the outside. Everybody's talking about Zeke coming back in great shape. You're getting the offensive line healthy. So you've got this offense put together, in this day and age where offense is obviously key in the regular season to winning football games. You love that. They've obviously got some good pieces on defense, and Marcus Lawrence and Jalen Smith and some of those things. They're very young on the back end. So that is an area, I don't know if you say of concern, but an area to watch to see what they become on the back end. And then especially knowing where they were defensively last year and all the struggles, even with some good players, that they had on the defensive side. But on paper, you have to say to yourself, where that offense is and the number of weapons they have, that this team has to compete. This team has to be in the mix because they're just too talented. But as I said, how many times have we said that about the Cowboys over the last 2 decades? They just haven't got to where they want to be as America's team.
Well, but Kurt, it's in the fan guide right there on page 1. In July, you talk about the Cowboys going to the Super Bowl. It's part of the playbook.
You're exactly right, and we do. I mean, America's team, everybody loves them. Obviously, I'm on a show with Michael Irvin. So, the first show every year, Michael's talking about how the Cowboys are going to be in the Super Bowl. And you want to believe it because, they've had such really, really good players during that period of time, but they just haven't, to me, had those kind of game-changing players that at critical moments step up and make that play that you need to be made. So you can look really good on paper, but do you have those guys? And again, I think that's going to be the question this year. Do those guys grow up? Do those guys, the guys you're talking about on offense, make those plays? Do they get a few guys that show up on defense that change the complexion of things? Because you look at the offense and you say to yourself, well, the defense probably doesn't have to be great, but they still have to make some key plays that they haven't made in recent years with the talent they've got over there. And again, you kind of hold your breath hoping that some of those guys will grow into those roles.
Hall of Famer Kurt Warner joining us here on the Blitz in Oxnard, California. The defense was historically bad last year, and so you can't fall off the floor. They've got to be better than they were last year. Trayvon Diggs joined us yesterday here in Oxnard, second-year corner, really becoming the leader of that secondary group, even though it is his second season. But he said something kind of interesting. He had 14 pass deflections last year, and he was mad because he thought that should be 14 interceptions. He doesn't want the pass breakup or deflection. He wants to get the turnovers. He ended up with 3 last year. And that is something that this Cowboys team has struggled with last couple years, is creating turnovers. How does a team create turnovers? Everybody practices, everybody talks about it, but how does it happen?
Well, I mean, back to what I said, is that you have to take advantage of the opportunities that you get, because you don't get as many opportunities, especially in this day and age, with how everything is geared towards the passing game and geared towards the offense. But I'll also say that, to me, pass rush is where turnovers are created. When a quarterback's back there and he's got to rush his decision-making, he's got to try to anticipate and let the ball go early. There's a guy in his face and he's got to try to make a throw over or around pass rush. And so, we saw DeMarcus Lawrence, a few years back, one of the best in the league at rushing the passer. The last couple of years hasn't had that same kind of success. And so they've got to find a mix up front, I believe, to help create those turnovers and get them back on track defensively. But they're going to need it, in my opinion, to help protect that young secondary while they come into their own, because, they could very easily have 2 corners starting that are, first, second year guys. And so in a pass first league, they're going to get attacked. They're going to get exposed to some degree while they grow up and, and become those veteran type players. So pass rush to me is going to be vital for this team, and finding a couple guys that can do it on a consistent basis.
Watching a couple of practices here in Oxnard, the defense does appear to be ahead of the offense. They've got a swagger, urgency, enthusiasm that we haven't seen in a while. And I think that's the influence of Dan Quinn. And, clearly he has challenged this group. But this Cowboys offense could be really, really good with Dak and the wide receivers. Kind of reminds me of an offense that, well, you might be familiar with the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, the pieces are there, and what they were doing when Dak was healthy last year and the yards that they were putting up, and like you said, to have, the plethora of weapons that you have and guys that you believe can win in every situation. We know about Amari Cooper and what he's done. CeeDee Lamb obviously showed us as a rookie that he could be a number one, a go-to guy. And I thought Michael Gallup last year really made some growth and became one of those guys that made some really big key plays for this football team in critical moments. So, man, I'm really excited about those three wide receivers. But let's be honest here, is that even though I know it's a pass-first league, the best teams have the ability to run the football. And, we know what Zeke has been, the little drop-off the last couple of years for him as well, the injuries at the offensive line. At the end of the day, that's what this is going to come down to, is can they protect Dak? Can they run the football? Or do they have to throw for 350 yards every game? Because when you do that, last year the turnovers go up, right?
Yep.
Taking chances with the football, putting yourself in harm's way. And many times they put their defense in harm's way. We talked about how historically bad their defense was, but they had a whole bunch of turnovers in those first 4 games to put their defense in bad situations as well. And so they are going to have to get back to what I think, makes a lot of teams go and can make this team go, is build around the offensive line, run the football, and then be able to count on your pass game and really be a balanced offense is where I think this team has a chance to be really special.
NFL Network's Kurt Warner with us here on the Blitz on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Dak Prescott left practice yesterday, strain in the shoulder, said his arm was feeling kind of sore. My first thought was, man, what a vet move on the first day of pads. But then they had the MRI and going to shut him down for a couple of days. It certainly seems like, as a quarterback getting ready for training camp, sore arm versus something isn't right. And you guys certainly know your body better than anybody. So when something doesn't feel right mechanically, you've got to shut it down. When you saw that report, did you go, he'll be all right? Or, we got a problem?
So my first response when you hear that about Dak is kind of, it's training camp. It's what we've all been through. You're throwing more than you normally throw. You're excited. You're back out there. You're winging the ball around a little bit. And the other thing that I think about with Dak is that oftentimes when you're going through an injury, your routine in the offseason changes. So he's probably been throwing a lot more in the offseason as he's trying to get that ankle right and figure out where he's at and getting up to speed. And so you're coming into training camp having a little more wear and tear on your arm. So I'm not fully concerned. Of course, we're going to watch it anytime we're talking about a $160 million man and the man that makes it go and a quarterback, and we're talking about their throwing arm. There's always a level of concern. But I would tell you, just about every quarterback that I know and every training camp that I went through, there came a time where you really had to manage your arm because you're throwing the ball so much more than you normally would throughout an offseason.
Kurt Warner joining us here on the Blitz. He's with the NFL Network. He is a Hall of Famer and a Hall of Fame broadcaster as well. Incredible work on the network, kind of like your career as you're coming out to Cowboys camp. You're going to watch them, and you'll get to many NFL training camps throughout this time period before the regular season starts. Is there a team or two that, not the Kansas Cities or the Tampa Bays, that you think have a chance to be really good this year that nobody is really talking about?
I don't know if, there's teams you're not talking about because, I don't know if anybody, necessarily comes out of nowhere and surprises you. But there's definitely teams with intrigue. The team in my own backyard, the Arizona Cardinals. I'm intrigued by them. They went out and made a bunch of moves to get some veteran guys that have been injured, the J.J. Watts, the A.J. Greens, those kind of guys. They bring in Rodney Hudson. They got some really quality players that they brought in surrounding a, young nucleus, a young quarterback that obviously was in the MVP race last year. And so I think there's a lot of intriguing things about the Arizona Cardinals that I want to see. And maybe it's not a surprise. I would say the LA Rams are another one of those teams that championship type defense, number one defense in the league last year, a good solid offense, but then you upgrade to a Matthew Stafford, who is a kind of generational talent at the position. That doesn't automatically mean you're going to compete for championships, but that's a team that I'm excited to see. I want to see what they can become, what they can be with Matthew Stafford behind center and the other pieces they have. You stay in the Cowboys division. Ryan Fitzpatrick, Fitz taking over this Washington team that's got a really, really good defense. Can he give them something more on offense? Because they were a good team last year, but needed a little bit more on offense. Is he an upgrade, at that position? So, those are a couple of them. I mean, of course, there's all kinds of intrigue. I want to see if the Chargers can take a step. Their quarterback last year came onto the scene and lit it up. Can they compete with the Chiefs, because they've got that offensive weaponry out there? And again, I mean, I could go around the league. I mean, there's intrigue with all these teams. You're excited about all these teams. How about the 49ers? Ravaged by injuries and COVID last year. They've got a really, really good football team if everybody stays healthy. Want to see how the quarterback situation plays out. But that's another team that I believe can be right back competing for a championship with the roster that they have. And we're not really talking about them because they had a really down year last year with a lot of other factors. So a lot of teams, I think, bring some intrigue to the table here early in training camp. And I'm excited to see how it's going to play out.
Well, it's going to be, every NFL season, the excitement level is certainly there. Kurt Warner, NFL Network, NFL Hall of Famer, with us here on the Blitz on San Antonio Sports Star. And before we let you go, got to ask, how much fun did you have putting together and working with the movie American Underdog?
It's incredible. It's a surreal thing when, you dream about playing in the NFL and having a career and accomplishing some of the things I was able to accomplish. And you never really think about, the stuff that comes with it in the moment and the journey from this perspective. And so to be able to have a movie about your life and to see that it's coming to fruition, that it's going to play out, that it's going to hit theaters in December has been really, really exciting. It makes you a little anxious and nervous as well because you want to make sure that you do it right, that you get it done right, and that it can have the impact that you think it can have. But it is an exciting time, and I'm excited about this fall, and I'm excited about sharing kind of the whole story with people because I think it has a chance to really touch people and impact people in an incredible way.
Awesome. Kurt Warner, always appreciate the time. Generally, we get to see you on Super Bowl Radio, Rose. Excited to see you here in Oxnard, although bring a sweater, man. It gets cold here. I know you're in Phoenix, and it's 110. It was 60 degrees when we got on these tennis courts this morning here at the training camp complex.
Tell me, I'm already in transit here, so I feel like every place is warm like Arizona. That's one of the hardest things is I never I always forget to look at the weather reports everywhere else because I think, it's 100 degrees everywhere I go. So it's always shorts and T-shirts. And then you get there and you're like, oh, man, it's 67 degrees right now. But I think I'll survive.
You will survive. Appreciate the time.
You bet, Jason.
Warner, Hall of Fame quarterback, analyst with the NFL Network here in Oxnard. And if you see him on the NFL Network, he has grown in a very nice gray beard. I almost didn't recognize him. You go, hey, that guy looks like Kurt. Whoa, that's Kurt Warner, Hall of Famer, rolling around with that beard. Let's see, 438. Dak Prescott, the birthday boy. He will join us coming up at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. Dak Prescott right here on the Blitz. John McClain will join us at 5:30. We are out at 6 today because of the NBA draft. We'll talk some draft and some more news with Texas and OU going to the SEC as they continue on with a series of what seem to be pointless formalities. It's not officially official yet. That might officially become tomorrow. But there's been some news. There's been the expected movement with Texas and OU going to the SEC. It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM in Oxnard, California. Our AA Best Bail Bonds Dallas Cowboys Training Camp Coverage continues, brought to you by Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds and Ewald Kubota. Again, Dak Prescott will join us at 5 o'clock. Very cool talking with Hall of Famer Kurt Warner just now. and he's got his movie coming up, Underdog American. Well, I tell you, that's a true story about Kurt Warner's life. But fantasy football is right around the corner, and the best new place to play fantasy sports, Underdog Fantasy. Jason Minix here. Underdog Fantasy is the best new place to play fantasy sports online. You can play on their website, underdogfantasy.com, or even download the mobile app. They have daily and season-long fantasy sports and NFL best ball format that's easy to play. No waivers, no trades. You just draft, set it and forget it. And what's very cool, it will help you practice for your home team drafts that are coming up. In fact, they already have contests for the 2021 NFL season already live at underdogfantasy.com, including the Best Ball Mania 2 tournament, the largest tournament in all of fantasy football, only $25 to enter, over $3.5 million in total prizes. So sign up today using promo code RADIO and make sure you make your first deposit. You're going to get a $25 cash bonus for free. Free $25 just for signing up and using promo code RADIO at underdogfantasy.com. Or you can find them in the App Store. So download the app today, start playing. Don't forget to use and enter promo code RADIO at sign up. Terms and conditions do apply. And you know what's great? If you don't like it, they guarantee your money back up to $100. Underdogfantasy.com.
Score $1,000 in summer cash. Enter the winning keyword, CAMP. C-A-M-P. CAMP at sasportstar.com. Good luck from San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Well, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio, like where this ad plays. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
Scott, is that you? Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Yes, radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149. Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a really big tree near your garage. Now, I'm a really big tree on your garage and car. And if you don't have the right insurance, the cost to fix this could leave you wishing money grew on trees. So bundle your home and auto with Allstate to save up to 25% and be better protected from mayhem like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected. Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Auto prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Yeah! Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
A 17-week season and only one couch. Let's hope it holds up. The Cowboys are back. The explosive action happens here. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
We've got the damn mic. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix in Oxnard, California. AA Best Bail Bonds Dallas Cowboys Training Camp Coverage brought to you in part by Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds and Ewald Kubota. Man, there is a lot going on in the sports world. James Pledger producing as always. Just keep hitting it, man. Just put the breaking news thingamajigger on a loop. All right, turn that off. Give me a headache. Let's start with the obvious, and then we'll get to the big stuff. The obvious, the SEC. So you might have heard that Texas and Oklahoma have asked and applied for membership. They invited themselves to the SEC. So they did that. They sent an invitation or a request, like a friend request. So they've requested admittance into the SEC club. And today the SEC accepted they accepted the invitation. How's it work? So there's all kinds of legal mumbo jumbo with all the SEC bylaws. They requested permission to join the club.
Yes.
So they asked for an invite.
Yes.
Did Texas and Oklahoma. See, they asked for this invite, and today the SEC decided to extend the invitation, but it's not official yet.
Unanimously, by the way.
A&M released a statement yesterday that said, "How much are we getting?" We're going to vote for this. We're these SEC types, man, they know what they're doing. They can print money, so we're not going to screw that up. So so they asked if they could come into the club. The invitation was extended, and for some reason they couldn't get everybody together at Texas and Oklahoma to accept the invitation today. So tomorrow there will be some sort of Zoom call, and the Texas Board of Regents and the Oklahoma Board of Regents will more than likely, I'm assuming, accept the invitation that they asked to get. I don't understand. If you have to apply for something and then they accept the application, that should be it. Do you request an invitation? Seems kind of weird, but you're inviting yourself to the party, and then once the invitation is extended, do you really have to accept it, or is that just known? Or if I knew the SEC was going to meet at 4, why wouldn't you have the Big 12 and OU types ready to go at 5 to put their official stamp on something that they've officially stamped? So it won't be officially official until tomorrow, the way I understand it. Although tomorrow there might have to be another vote by somebody's sorority to just make sure that all of this is safe. It seems stupid that
bureaucracy for bureaucracy's sake.
Well, in the world when everything first started, and say if they had to get a message to all the universities through a buggy and a horse traveling it around so everybody could sign, I could understand why you would need to do this. But in today's world with cell phones and email and everybody can get on one Zoom call, I don't understand why you would have to do this. It seems like some weird wedding ritual from some foreign country. It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. So it's not officially official yet. That won't officially come until tomorrow, I think. The other breaking news, it's the NBA. It's NBA trade day. And it really is an historic day that we're at NFL training camps and the NBA draft is going on. This has never happened before, and it will never happen again, hopefully. But Kyle Kuzma has been involved in 841 different trade rumors, and it looks like he might be on his way to our nation's capital. According to Woj, the Lakers are near a deal to get Russell Westbrook for Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, and KCP, and a 2021 first-round pick. That seems like it's done. Woj does say there's no agreement in place. There's still work to be done. But Westbrook wants to go to L.A. We know that. He wants to become a Laker. They have talked about LeBron wanting a couple of different guys, including Russ, and he's going to get a chance to go home and chase a ring. Now, I look at everything through a Spurs prism. By the way, When you're covering Cowboys training camp, with majority here being Dallas media types, rolling around in a Spurs shirt gets you a lot of weird looks. I'm just saying, and I am wearing a Spurs shirt today. But does that open up an opportunity for DeMar DeRozan to end up with Washington? You know, if Russell Westbrook ends up with the Lakers, the idea of DeMar going home, not seemingly there. Could he end up in Washington? Now, we know DeMar said on Shannon Sharp's podcast, Club Shay Shay, that he wanted to go somewhere where he could win. It ain't Washington. But with no Westbrook, he'd be a good fit there. I mean, him, Bradley Beal, that could work. Does that mean New York becomes more of a player? What about Miami when it thinks about DeMar DeRozan? But I'm still thinking sign and trade. And what on Washington pledge would you want besides Davis Bertans back?
Well, Davis Bertans and his $16 million would obviously be kind of the filler of the contract. It gives the Spurs a shooter back, but their first round pick from a few years ago, Gonzaga stretch forward Rui Hachimura, would be a great addition to this Spurs roster, and their 15th pick this year.
You can only have so many Gonzaga players on your team, you see, and if they take Corey Kispert tonight, that would kill that deal. You know, there is a rule you can only have one per NBA team.
Sure, but that means that the Spurs can draft a more likely star at 12, and you don't have to take Kispert there because now you've added shooting. You've added Davis Bertans back into the mix, so you've helped to add some shooting. So you don't need Corey Kispert anymore.
Well, I mean, maybe it's possible, but I'm with you there. But I still, you are so dead fast set on they have to get a star with this 12th pick. There's no guarantee you're getting a star. You didn't say that. You did not say potential. I mean, they're all potentially stars. All of them. I mean, could be a second round guy.
Sure.
Manu. I mean, but at 12, you're not guaranteed a star. So do you go fit, need, best player available?
Best player available. In the NBA, you always go best player available because fit is irrelevant. You fill your fits in free agency. Free agency is what you use to fill the fits because you need to find a guy that could be a potential star. And the best way to go about doing that is to draft him. That's the best way to do it when you're in a small market that's not going to lure the LeBron Jameses, the Anthony Davises, or any of the top tier free agents when other teams like New York have more money than you. You're just not going to win that battle. So you have to draft him and then fill your fits through free agency.
The Cleveland Cavaliers, more breaking news because NBA Twitter is on fire. Another Woj bomb. The Cavaliers make a trade with the Minnesota Timberwolves for Ricky Rubio, a 2022 second-round pick, and cash for Taurean Prince. And every time I see a Woj bomb and I see trade, I'm wondering if the Spurs are going to be in that in any way. So you look at it here on NBA Draft Night. What will the Spurs end up doing? And could it involve DeMar DeRozan in a sign and trade? Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it has to get done right now. You think about all these ridiculous Ben Simmons rumors that you're hearing what Philadelphia wants. And I know the Spurs have been associated with some of those, but those are just ridiculous. I mean, the Spurs are not going to give up 4 first-round picks for Ben Simmons. I'd give up 1, maybe 2, but certainly not 4 for Ben Simmons. And clearly Daryl Morey does not know how to value Ben Simmons, or he would already have a deal done. But it does certainly appear that Ben Simmons isn't going to be there. And I don't blame Daryl early in the game asking for a lot, but you can't be that ridiculous trying to get that done. I mean, it is just kind of interesting. And it is an interesting night for the San Antonio Spurs. But I don't know if this is one of the most important nights or important drafts in San Antonio Spurs history. What do you guys think? The Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. You can also get us on Twitter. Tweet at me at Jason Minix. You can tweet at James Pledger at I Am Pledger. And I know with Dak Prescott coming up in about 6 minutes, the PR guy just came by, said he's 6 minutes away. Asked if we were still good. Yeah, I think we're still good. I guess Dak might have got some of the cake off his face. It's his birthday. His teammates sang happy birthday and then smashed him in the face with a cake. I'm sure he's playing that up for Hard Knocks. In fact, Mike McCarthy was on R&R in the morning today with Rob Thompson and Rudy Johnson. Pledge, do you have that cut with Mike McCarthy? Your video is frozen, so I can't see if you're ready with this or not.
Yeah, I'm ready.
They're having some fun. And we've talked with things that we have seen with Hard Knocks here. But what I haven't seen is anybody with a weird haircut yet, which is pretty typical at training camp. We're not seeing that. And Rob and Rudy asked Mike McCarthy about some of the rookie traditions and his team.
Well, I think that, the initiation of a rookie is definitely part of the history of this league.
Right.
And I think it's important. I think it's important in the organic development, of the group dynamic component that you're definitely able to establish when you go away to training camp. But just being honest, with Hard Knocks here, I've cut back some things that we would normally do just because I didn't think you'd get the same result out of it, the reaction. I don't think with the cameras in the room, guys are going to be totally open in those particular situations. Am I saying that properly?
Yeah, you are doing it.
Yeah,
You're doing it justice. It's been top secret.
Trying to make our legal counsel proud here. So, we haven't done those types of things that I've traditionally done, but I'm not into hazing, and I think that can be, we don't have to demean anybody, but it's definitely, you want that threshold, those guys to kind of.
There is a barrier that must be crossed.
Thank you. It's all part of that locker room component. Yeah.
And again, with Hard Knocks here, things are a little different. I think the cake to the face had something to do with Hard Knocks cameras being there because Dak has to celebrate every birthday at training camp. If you missed any of Mike McCarthy this morning, check the audio vault at sasportstar.com. In a few minutes, Dak Prescott, he's going to be in the audio vault, but he's going to join us live next here on the Blitz in Oxnard, California. The birthday boy, Dak Prescott, coming up at 5 o'clock. And while you're at sasportstar.com, if you've been grilling, you took a photo of what was on your grill, make sure you upload it because coming up in about 45 minutes or so, Grilling with the Blitz, and we're going to give away a $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market. And if you're going to be grilling, you want the best on that grill, you've got to go in to Tri-County Meat Market because that great meal starts with great meat. Tri-County Meat Market is locally owned and full service. They have carefully selected certified prime Angus beef cuts, Wagyu, and upper choice. They have everything you need to up your grilling game. The beef, the chicken, the pork, the fajitas, the poppers. They even have their own homegrown Wagyu, farm to fork Wagyu, and they've even teamed up with Dean and Peeler Premium Meats out of Floresville for more locally sourced meats. You can always stock up on their Pig 5 for $25, and the specials this weekend: certified Angus beef choice ribeyes for $17.99 a pound. Their fajitas, those preseason fajitas, at $12.99 a pound, and for $8.99 a pound, you can get 3-bone plate ribs, 4-bone chuck ribs, a picanha, and that Wagyu sausage. Tri-County Meat Market always offers a 10% discount for military and first responders. They have 2 great locations on Ralph Fair Road and on Huebner. Online, tricountymeat.com.
Dallas Cowboys football lives here.
Jerry Jones joining us.
No one more disappointed with our first year than Mike. I've been in first years before with coaches. My best example is winning one football game with Jimmy Johnson. And before he left, we won 2 Super Bowls and one more right behind it. You have to watch out throwing the cold water on them after 1 year.
Dallas Cowboys Training Camp on San Antonio Sports Star. ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM is presented by AA Best Bail Bonds and powered by Ewald Kubota and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds.
Great news, Slackers! Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar is now opening at noon 7 days a week at all 4 area locations: North Star, St. Mary's, Slackadochis, and the Medical Center. Slackers is the home for 7-day-a-week happy hour, now starting at noon every day. And by popular demand, Slackers brings back the signature frozen drinks. Bring a date, bring a crew, or come on down solo. Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar serves you up all your favorites and quenches your thirst 7 days a week, starting every day at noon. Visit slackersbarssa.com for more info.
Northeast Independent School District is now hiring and training school bus drivers. Whether you're looking for a new job, you're a retiree, or you're retired military, come help drive students to succeed and apply at Northeast ISD Transportation today. No experience is necessary, and you will get paid while earning your CDL and learning how to drive a school bus. The Northeast ISD Transportation Department is ranked as one of the top 100 school bus fleets in America, and our drivers receive exceptional pay and benefits, including health, dental, vision, and retirement. If you're looking for work, if you're retired from the military, or you simply want to make a difference in our community, apply now with the Northeast ISD Transportation Department. Join our team and discover Northeast ISD by calling 210-356-9229. That's 210-356-9229. Or you can text Drive Bus to 797979. That's text Drive Bus to 797979.
Golfers, it's time to tee it up at the reopening of Edwin Watts. We've weathered the storm, and now we're open. Come visit our newly remodeled store featuring GC quads in every hitting bay. Check out the new arrivals from all the top brands like Ping, TaylorMade, Titleist, and Callaway. Edwin Watts has the largest selection of shoes, bags, balls, apparel, and more in stock. Swing by our newly remodeled store and get custom fit for free today. Edwin Watts is the home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
O'Reilly. Syntec is back and better than ever at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec is a premium full synthetic motor oil at an affordable price. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec full synthetic and a Wix filter for just $31.99. Plus, earn double O Rewards points. Minimize friction, heat, and wear on your engine with Syntec full synthetic motor oil exclusively at
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
One team, one mission. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Our boys are joining the boys. Cowboys Training Camp, live from Oxnard, California. Jason Minix, the Blitz.
Welcome back to the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Our AA Best Bail Bonds Dallas Cowboys training camp coverage continues. I'm Jason Minix here in California, and that is the birthday boy, Dak Prescott, joining us now on the Blitz. Happy birthday, man.
Thank you for the birthday wishes, and thank you for having me on.
How cool is it to go through practice with fans singing happy birthday seemingly nonstop, and then, of course, your teammates give you a cake to the face?
It was fun. Definitely a first getting the cake to the face. But it's always a blessing just to be able to be at training camp and be doing what I love for my birthday. So something that I don't take for granted. And then obviously having it topped off with the cake to the face. That was fun. I'm sure that was some hard knocks, but I enjoyed it.
Well, it was fun to watch. I don't know about getting the cake to the face, but I did see Zeke eat some of the cake as he was walking away. You got about 20 seagulls behind you right now eating some of the cake. Did you get to eat any of it?
Yeah, when they put it in my face, unfortunately, some got in my mouth. Unfortunately, because it didn't taste bad, actually. And that's what I told Zeke, and so that's why he wanted to taste it and said the same. But I'm glad I'm able to feed the seagulls now.
Yeah, well, that's it.
I'm sharing my birthday cake. How about that?
There you go, man. Well, you're a giver. That's what Dak Prescott does. Hey, honestly, man, does it kind of suck every year that your birthday's at training camp?
No, it doesn't. Last year, because of COVID, was the first time that it wasn't in a long time. I guess since I went off to college, and I was able to celebrate it with my friends, my family, my girlfriend, and that was a special one. But this is what I love doing the most. This is what I want my birthday to be like, as long as I'm fortunate to play this game. So, it'll never get old coming out here and having thousands of strangers and fans sing you happy birthday. So, I'm thankful for it.
Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott with us here on the Blitz on his birthday. You were out there today. That was the good news. Yesterday, we were all very concerned about your arm. They say it's mild. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Just something I want to work through, something I don't want to push too far, and just taking the precautions that are needed so I don't do too much, obviously early in training camp, and make something that doesn't have to be worse. So
after all the rehab, just getting back out here, and you've talked about this a lot during your press conferences and whatnot, but Are you going to play in any preseason games? What's the plan there for your availability during any of the preseason games?
Yeah, I mean, I know that was the plan before, obviously, this came up yesterday, and I'm going to remain and think that stays the same. So, as I said, this is something I'm going to work through, but I want to plan preseason action. I think it's just good for me, good for the team, good for all the guys, just to get our legs underneath us, get some communication versus somebody different than ourselves, and allows us to have an exhibition game or just some snaps that don't count before we jump into the real thing.
Is it the game speed part that you want to get under your belt before you face Tampa Bay in that opener?
I think it's the game speed, but I mean, we're out here practicing at a high speed. We're competing at a high level. Not only that, we'll get to scrimmage the Rams. So I think there's a lot of things that are going to be different this year than they were last year. Last year was just funny going into that first game without much of a exhibition game or much of a game speed practice. And so I think it's important, and I think it's why it's most important for us to get out there, including myself, to get some reps.
Dak Prescott with us here on ESPN San Antonio. You look at the offensive weapons. Zeke looks incredible shape. You've mentioned several times how in shape some of those offensive linemen are, because unfortunately you spent a lot of time in the rehab room with them last year. How dangerous and explosive can this offense be?
Oh, yeah, we can be dangerous. We're going to set our goals and we're going to go accomplish them, but we know it's about coming out here each and every day and improving every day and every drill we have and taking it step by step. And we're excited to do that. We're hungry to do that. We're not going to get ahead of ourselves and not going to try to play game one right now. It's about coming out here in the next couple of days and putting the next practice under our belts and making sure that we get better than we were today.
With so many receiving options, how do you make sure they all get theirs?
Yeah, when you got guys and personalities like we have, there's not a big ego. These are all guys that want to see the other man succeed. They want to see Zeke succeed. And that's the great part about this offense that we have is there's so much talent, but everyone's doing it for one another. So that's exciting. That allows us to have for that one ball to get around and make everyone happy. And everyone knows that when they get the play, they want to make a big play because they know the next man might go do it if they don't. So that's just the fun part that we've gotten. It's a good problem to have.
Do you get receivers that try to get you to change the play in the huddle?
No, not necessarily. Not at all. But we've got great communication. Once we get up to the line, if there's certain looks that we've talked about, I get guys kind of looking at me, giving me their eyes, and I know what they mean. But that's the connection. That's the chemistry we've created, and that's great to have. That's guys saying, like, hey, this is the look that we wanted to attack, and I want the ball, and what do you think about it? And a lot of times, you give them that signal, and we roll from there.
If a receiver did ask you to change the play, would you?
It depends on what his idea of the play was. But I know I'm going into the game, what we're looking for and what we're trying to attack. And obviously I trust Kellen and everything he has.
Dak, I'm setting you up, man. We had Bryce Butler. He was at practice yesterday, and we've known Bryce a long time. And he told me to ask you this.
Ask him about the time I told him to change. I tried to get him to change a play in the huddle his rookie year. He remembers that story like it was yesterday. Just ask him the time that I tried to get him to change a play, and just ask him if he did it or not.
All right.
So however you got to word it to make it sound clever, just be like, we had your boy in here, yesterday, and he was talking about, trying to get plays changed and stuff like that, and just see what he says.
Like I said, it depends on what the play was. So as Bryce is referring to, I did not change that play.
You did not? Yeah, no more details on that?
No, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, Bryce, he wanted the ball. As I said, that's something that I'm never going to be mad at a receiver wanting to do that. But and also being a rookie, it's a lot different than where I'm at in my career now. So definitely didn't.
Very true. And to be fair, Bryce says last time you two played golf, you actually beat him. And he's still mad about it.
I did. We played a little scramble, and I had to make a long putt to win it, and I did exactly that. So I know he's been in the lab, and I might not have been. So I'm gonna give it some time before that rematch.
Dak Prescott with us here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. As you think about where you guys are in training camp right now, last question for you, Dak. I know you're got to go. I'm getting the signal because probably more birthday wishes coming. What's the one area coming off the rehab in the season that you didn't get to have last year that you are behind on that surprises you that you're behind on?
I really wouldn't say there's an area I'm behind on, to be honest with you. I did my due diligence during the injury to make sure that my mind stayed fresh and that I stayed a part of the game mentally. And I've got some great people that were part of the rehab process that have allowed me to come back. And I feel like the player that I was right before I got hurt, and now the point is to get better than that. So,
well, I can tell you, being here when you actually became the starter during that rookie year of your training camp, seeing you then, seeing you now, you don't look like you're behind, but I thought I'd ask. Dak, happy birthday. Appreciate you taking the time with us here in San Antonio.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. Dak Prescott, Cowboys quarterback, with us here on the Blitz as our AA Best Bail Bonds Dallas Cowboys training camp coverage continues here in Oxnard. Dak, before you walk away, I just got a text from the boss. Greg Martin says, have Dak wish me a happy birthday on the air since we share the day, and I'll give you 3 days off. Dak, Greg, just know he's not mouthing happy birthday. I mean, it's a pretty cool thing. So, Pledge, you and I, man, we're going to take the whole week off because Greg Martin said so. Yes. I've got it in the text. Greg might actually said 1 day, but I made it 3. Might make it 5 by the time I get back to Monday because of the crap hotel that we are staying here. All of us deserve time off because of the hotel hell that we are in here. Now, that's not Greg Martin's fault, right?
No, I think it's your Airbnb's fault, right?
Well, it is. I mean, because we had a great beach house like we always do, and Airbnb canceled it. I know we might have mentioned this a time or two throughout the week that we're here, but this really is the crappiest hotel on earth. I mean, wildfires yesterday, we were kind of hoping it would burn down. We'd have to find, somewhere else to go. But last night, we went back to the room kind of early because Rob was tired. It was still daylight early. This morning show is kicking his ass. So we get back to the room. Well, on the way back after a wonderful dinner, we stopped at the convenience store and we got some beer. Well, Rudy and I were ready to go. But the problem is, they leave early in the morning. And so I don't want the car keys in my room late at night because then they'd be knocking on my door at 3:30 to get the car, right? So we just went back to the room. Me and Rudy were hanging out, just drinking beer. and he witnessed what I've been dealing with. The lights in the room just go out for no reason. For about 2 minutes, every light goes out, and then they come back on. And if you've got your lights off, like when you're sleeping, at about 2:30 every day, every light comes on. The ones on the lamps that you click are somehow connected to some light switch somewhere, but every day the lights just come on and off. I don't know what happened in that room in the past. I don't want to know. It's freaky, but Rudy saw it last night, and it scared the hell out of him because all of a sudden we're sitting there. And look, if this hotel all lost power at some point because they didn't pay the bill, you wouldn't be surprised, right? I mean, it's just one of those kind of places. But I was glad to see that, or that Rudy saw the light issue that I've been dealing with because it is kind of weird. But I do look forward to taking an extra day off, Greg. Happy birthday to the boss, by the way. Dak Prescott looks good. I mean, I know he did not throw today. The idea that, he's got that arm soreness, talking to Kurt Warner, Hall of Fame quarterback, earlier today when he said, you probably did a lot of work in the offseason rehabbing the leg. It's still July. You want to make sure you get it rest. You don't want to overwork it too much. Sore arms for quarterbacks, very common when it comes to training camp. So, nobody's overly concerned about Dak Prescott and his arm. If they were, he wouldn't have been out there doing what he was doing today, which was basically everything but throwing the football. And they certainly wouldn't have let him do all the media that he was scheduled to do today. I'm actually kind of impressed and surprised that they had him do media on his birthday. But I appreciate the time and the conversation. I think the big takeaway out of what Dak Prescott said is his desire to play in the preseason. We've had a lot of debate on whether or not he should play in the preseason, whether it's with RJ Ochoa from bloggingtheboys.com or Rob Thompson. I want him to get into a preseason game or two just to make sure everything works, just to get up to game speed, because Practice speed is different. And, you know, unlike years past, Cowboy quarterbacks now wear red jerseys. It used to not be the case, but everybody knows quarterbacks wear red jerseys. You don't touch them. You don't come near them. In fact, I remember Dat Wynn saying one time that Bill Parcells had a rule that when you broke the line of scrimmage, if you were going to get a sack, you don't get within 5 yards of the quarterback. If you get within 5, you're credited with a practice sack. Why? Because you don't want to get up to him and two-hand touch him or something, because if as Dad said, if Troy Aikman's going through the throwing motion and breaks a finger on my helmet, I'm going to lose my job. And that's how they're treated in these practices. He needs to get hit. He needs that physical part of the game that you're not going to get in practice. The speed of the game. I don't want the first time he takes a live snap being on a Thursday night against the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I want Dak Prescott to play in some preseason games. And I'm conflicted with that because part of me wants to put him in bubble wrap and save him. You know, I mean, but you know, he said what you just heard from Dak Prescott, the plan was for him to get some preseason action. He wants some preseason action. The question now with this arm soreness deal, will that change up whatever their original plan was? But it will be interesting to see. I can damn near guarantee you he's not going to see a down next Thursday night when the Dallas Cowboys play the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Hall of Fame game. That's right. We are 1 week away from the first preseason game. It's incredible. So, but he won't play in that one. They do have joint practices coming up with the Rams. And even that, you're still protected as the quarterback. I am not worried about Aaron Donald destroying one Dak Prescott when those joint practices begin because, you know, that red jersey rule.
Well, I mean, the joint scrimmages with the Rams will be good in terms of getting kind of live reps in a sense, but you're not going to need to see a whole lot from him. Like maybe that third preseason game, he goes out there for a quarter or something, but for the most part, these guys are going to be ready to go once the season starts. He's going to be conditioned. He's going to be ready. I think you just got to get through the regular, and same goes for Zeke and Amari and DeMarcus Lawrence and all these other players. You just want to get into the season as healthy as possible without exposing them to too much risk.
Well, and I certainly do get that, but at the same time, I don't want him trotting out there on that Thursday against the Buccaneers. And that's the first thing he sees. And you know, and you mentioned the other part of it is the defense here is ahead of the offense right now. I mean, it really is. I mean, Dak threw a pick six the other day, had a couple of interceptions. And, you know, even Mike McCarthy said at one point, you know, you're kind of 50% happy when you see that. You're happy for the defense, but you're yeah, we do need some straps for the butt, but it's that ocean breeze
you keep
that
getting attacked.
Manchaka on the YouTube live feed talking about our backdrop behind us. You know, it's clamped at the top, but there's nothing to anchor it to on the bottom. So we do have that ocean breeze. I mean, it's like you're in Oxnard with us. Do you know it was 60 degrees this morning? You know, we want that feeling, you know, and for you to watch us and get a little seasick, you know, as you're doing it. You know, it's that real effect. But I do think the defense is a bit ahead of the offense right now. And I say that's another reason why I want to see them in a preseason game. Make sure they're on the same page. You know, offensively, Amari Cooper hasn't practiced yet. Michael Gallup flipped over a fence the other day and hasn't been on the field yet. Some of the other receivers are getting work. CeeDee Lamb, obviously incredible, but you know, and Cedric Wilson is having some good days, but the defense is ahead. I want to see a little bit more out of the starting unit on the offensive side. Now, I will say with the pads on today, there was a situation where Zeke went all in on a rookie, that Maurice Kennedy guy, and Zeke laid the wood. And during Zeke's press conference, he talked about, you know, he's lost a lot of weight. This is the lightest Zeke has been since his freshman year at Ohio State, according to Zeke, at 218 pounds. And he looks like he's in that great shape. So he delivered a hit today and basically said, I know I'm still strong, but he just wanted to make sure that he was going to be able to get behind it, and that power running style that he has is still going to be there. It was a good day of practice today for the Dallas Cowboys, even though in the team stuff, you didn't get anything from Dak Prescott because he wasn't throwing, but he was out there going through everything. We just had Dak Prescott on. If you tune into the radio, you're late. It will be up at sasportstar.com and the video on all our socials. And, the video, you'll get a little bit of the behind the scenes of how we're having to do things because of all the COVID protocols. So in years past, when we do player interviews, they come to the table and they sit down and we do an interview face to face like you would expect. Because of protocols, he stays on the field and we have a second piece of equipment, kind of like when Rob and I were doing the show from each other's kitchens, right? Basically, that's what we're doing. So he's out on the field, and this is the part that I don't understand, is he's on the field, and Rob is there with him holding the iPad so we get the video camera. Now, he is 6 feet away from him, supposedly, but there is some distance there. And that's how we have to do them right now. So they're not face to face, even though, we are here. But what I don't understand is we have to do that for the players. Yet Mike McCarthy was sitting at this very table this morning. Jerry Jones was at this very table. They can be face to face with us. And then we know they go around the players. And I know it's for player safety. It just seems stupid. Especially since, we're all vaccinated, and the players and the coaches, everybody that we're talking to are vaccinated. It's the optics thing for the NFL, but some of it just doesn't make sense. So I can stand there in front of you and hold a camera, but I can't stand over there and talk to you face to face. I mean, because, if that were the case, I could have gone over there and talked to him, but we can't do that. I've got to come over here. But Rob could go over there, and it was that way with Trayvon Diggs and all the other player interviews that you've heard this week. But it just seems stupid.
And on our San Antonio Sports Star Twitter feed, you'll see a picture of Rob standing away from Dak, holding the iPad, and Dak kind of leaning against the fence. But I want to talk about the way Dak's leaning across against the fence, because it is very Rob Thompson-esque, with his little leg up and a little hip hop action going. It is very Rob Thompson-esque with the hip hop.
Rob Thompson is a sorority girl at heart. I don't know if in a previous life, if Rob Thompson was a cheerleader, but if you go and you look at photos of Rob Thompson, he always stands there and he puts his hand on his hip and he sucks up, moves out, and he's got his hand on his hip. But he also kind of stands that way because he's not, posing, with his fist,
it's a natural thing.
Into his head. But he's got the hip hop in all his photos. It is. I mean, we make fun of the photos, if you look at the picture with Jerry Jones that we took earlier, you'll see it. It was a couple of years ago. I believe we were with Tyron Smith and Lael Collins. And so, there's about 1,000 pounds of human in this photo. And here's Rob. Ready? Team.
Rob.
And then we start realizing it's in every photo. And apparently Pledge has realized even if his arm isn't there, he naturally pops his hip out.
It's fantastic, and I love it. I love that about Rob Thompson. And you're right. You might be onto something. He may have been in his previous life, a female cheerleader for the Texas A&M Aggies. Oh no, they don't have any. That's right.
That wasn't the case. That was a poor idea of humor, James Pledger. Greg Martin, dude, it's your birthday. Be in a better mood. He said no day off. It had to come out of his mouth.
Well, it did. It was just he was off mic. He was off to his next place.
I
can adjust the audio so maybe you can hear it as he's walking away.
I'm just saying. It's I don't know that Dak is going to be at the party. In fact, I guarantee you that Dak won't. The players never go to the Jerry Jones media party that's happening tonight at Nobu. But Greg, I'll effort somebody to wish you a happy birthday. Just go ahead, because I just want the free week off. Not that I don't have a gazillion vacation days that I'm never going to be able to use. Hopefully Alpha Media will roll them over another year after, because they did last year because of the pandemic. Nobody could use them, but then they roll over. But I've been here almost 14 years. So then they get the new collection along with the rollover. But normally we're not allowed to roll the days over, which is kind of crappy. But hopefully we'll be able to do that this year. So it's all good.
By the way, Greg got his happy birthday.
Birthday wishes.
See,
there you go, Greg.
There you go. Hang on. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. Hey, Dak, will you wish happy birthday to Greg Martin? Send him some birthday wishes.
Birthday wishes.
There you go, Greg Martin. Birthday wishes. Because technically he didn't say, I want you to say, hey, Greg Martin, happy birthday. You just needed birthday wishes. Oh, no. John McClain of the Houston Chronicle. He will join us next. Lots going on with the Houston Texans. We're in Oxnard with our AA Best Bail Bonds Dallas Cowboys Training Camp Coverage here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. John McClain of the Houston Chronicle next. Nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it happens to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast, best way to do that, call my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text the word bail to 474747, or you can even start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you really understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option, AA Best Bail Bonds, for stress-free bail bonds. Why? Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans available, a free shuttle service. They're discreet and confidential and open 24/7 to get you out fast. Offices all over San Antonio and Texas. So if you're up in Dallas, down in the Valley, over in Corpus, anywhere in between, AA Best Bail Bonds, license number 149. Call 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or go online, mybestbailbonds.com.
Ribs, burgers, chicken. Submit what you cooked on the grill or smoker, and you can win a $50 gift card from Tri-County Meat Market. Grilling with the Blitz. Online at sasportstar.com.
Speaking of grilling, if you're going to fire up the grill, you want authentic sausage on that grill. The kind you can find in butcher shops back in the old days, then Kielbasa smoked sausage is what you've been looking for. And it's the way they make their legendary smoked sausage at Kielbasa. It's done in small 150-pound batches with only fresh, high-quality ingredients, never frozen meat. They never add fillers or chemicals that you can't pronounce. Then it is smoked over real hardwood, just the way it was done in 1949 when Rufus Kielbasa started the company here in San Antonio. Everything they make is still made right here in San Antonio. Kielbasa is a great local company on a mission to reintroduce you to authentic smoked meats. Now, I love those dinner sausages, and I've missed this week because the free breakfast at the hotel is worthless, is the Kielbasa Smoked Meats Maple Breakfast Links. They are fantastic. That breakfast sausage is incredible, and the Maple Breakfast Links are now available at select H-E-B stores. If you haven't tried them yet, you need to. They're fantastic. You're missing out. If your H-E-B doesn't have them, tell the grocery manager and then drive to another H-E-B that has it, because you want to get some Kielbasa today.
This Sports Center update is brought to you by Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 100% satisfaction guarantee.
I'm James Pledger, and in the NFL, Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott underwent an MRI that showed he had a muscle strain in his right shoulder and is now considered day-to-day. Prescott himself didn't seem worried after practice.
A little shoulder pain, a little shoulder soreness. I should stay in tightness. I felt it a little bit yesterday. I came out today, was going to work through it. I just felt I should be smart. I've got a long time to go, a day of rest or so, and just get back at it. Didn't obviously want to push through something that could potentially make it worse, so everything's fine.
In college football, Texas A&M's Board of Regents is recommended to their president by voting 8-1 to support SEC expansion by adding Texas and Oklahoma. Finally, in Major League Baseball, the Texas Rangers traded all-star outfielder Joey Gallo and reliever John King to the New York Yankees in exchange for 6 prospects, 4 of whom are ranked in the Yankees' top 30. I'm James Pledger for San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online, mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
Prescription products require an online consultation. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
My husband's ED was affecting our marriage. When he first started experiencing ED, it was difficult for both of us. We didn't know who to talk to about it or where to get help. HIMSS was our answer. HIMSS connected my husband with a licensed provider online. He was able to get medication to treat his ED at a fraction of the price people pay for the name brand. It was delivered to our door, and guess what? Our sex life is back. It works.
Right now, get your first online provider's visit totally free when you go to forhims.com/love. Yep, free. No copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Just the care you need.
Thanks to HIMSS, we got our sex life and our marriage back.
To start your free online visit, go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/love. That's forhims.com/love for your free online visit. forhims.com/LOVE.
Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Howdy, San Antonio. Chip Ingram from the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant, inviting you to come out and enjoy patio season. We have newly remodeled patios, garage doors, and everything else you need to enjoy this great South Texas weather. As always, ice cold beer and specialty drinks. Happy hours daily from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And our kitchen is open from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. See you soon at the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant at 281 and Redland Road.
Staples Connect has everything for back to school at amazing prices. Right now, Crayola 12-count colored pencil bonus packs, 10+2 Crayola marker bonus packs, and Staples pencil boxes are just 97 cents each. So your student won't just be ready for school, there'll be tons of drawings to hang on the fridge ready.
We're going to need a bigger refrigerator.
Visit your local Staples store or staples.com/back-to-school today and get more than ready for school with amazing prices for everything on your list. Ends 9/18, limit 30, prices may vary online.
This is The Blitz with Jason Minix and the brightest sports insiders. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Back here on The Blitz on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix in Oxnard, California with our AA Best Bail Bonds Dallas Cowboys Training Camp Coverage. But, you know, there's a lot of news coming out of Houston's training camp. The Texans Man, making all kinds of news. Before we go to John McClain, I want Pledge. Can you pull up that Randall Cobb audio? Randall Cobb traded from the Texans to the Green Bay Packers to make Aaron Rodgers happy. And as he was back meeting with the media in Green Bay, he had to say this about being back in Green Bay.
I can breathe again. I've seen the other side. And I'm excited to be back here, and I'm excited. I'm smiling. It's funny. My teammates say, "You act like you just got out of prison." I said, "Well, I'm very, very, very excited to be here. And that's nothing against Houston. Whenever I
see now stop it there. I don't know how you can say that's nothing against Houston. John McClain of the Houston Chronicle joins us as he does every Thursday here on the Blitz. Randall Cobb tried to. I think when he realized what he said out loud to the media, tried to backtrack and compliment things in Houston. But my goodness, is it really that toxic inside the locker room?
Well, first of all, he went on to praise Nick Caserio and David Culley and said he thought they had the right people. And he said some nice thing about them. But the fact is he's gone back to a Super Bowl contender to play with one of the greatest quarterbacks in history instead of
I think we lost John McClain. Pledge.
A quarterback who bounced around like a pinball. So, no, there's no toxic locker room here. He's talking about going from a loser to a winner.
Fair enough. John McClain of the Houston Chronicle. The thought that Deshaun Watson actually reported, and we haven't had a chance. We haven't talked to you since last Thursday, and there was questions on whether he would or if he'd end up on the commissioner's exempt list. By all accounts, he is being a great teammate, even though he is not QB1 with the Texans anymore. How weird is it there with the Texans just having Deshaun there?
I've seen a lot of strange things in my 45 years of covering the NFL, Jason, but I didn't think he would show because he had told them that he would never show. He wouldn't come to the off-season program, training camp, preseason games, or regular season, and he would absorb $1 million in fines. And that's before he hired Rusty Harden, one of the most expensive attorneys in the country, and had to pay him for 5 months. No telling how many millions that's cost him. So he showed up not to be fined $50,000 a day. They could have let him go home and not fined him. They could have left him in NRG Stadium during practice, let him work out on his own like he's one of the players on injured reserve. Instead, they have him come out. It was a circus yesterday, national media, local media. And he's done the same thing both days. He comes out, he goes on the field, he throws passes to the receivers in the warm-ups, and then when they start their team drills, he moves over to the side while the top 3 quarterbacks do all the work because Watson will never take another snap for the Texans. So 2 times each day they take him and another quarterback and they put them at safety on another field because they're trying to show a look to a young quarterback like Davis Mills. So the joke is he's a dual threat quarterback and safety. But they would love for somebody to make him an offer. He's got a no trade clause. They would love to trade him. He wants to be traded. At some point he will be. And Jason, what I believe is this: it will have to be a team that is willing to withstand the public scrutiny and criticism for taking a player with all the legalities that he has to deal with, and think that eventually, whether it's 2022 or at some point in 2021, he will have every illegal issue behind him, and that team will have a top quarterback for the next 10 or 12 years. But that's the only way I can see a deal being made if somebody has an owner and a fan base that'll be able to look beyond some serious, disturbing accusations about Deshaun Watson.
John McClain of the Houston Chronicle here on the Blitz on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. The weirdness that his presence is, part of me feels like the Texans were hoping the commissioner would handle it and put him on the exempt list. I don't buy their statement that said that they don't have all the info from the police investigation, because we've seen the NFL suspend players with less access. The only difference is there's no video when you think about a Zeke comparison or some of the others. And the fact that the Texans haven't just sent him home, I don't know, are they punishing him by making him go out there and work at safety?
Well, let's be honest. Working at safety, stands out there for about 2 minutes and doesn't do anything. He doesn't run. He just gives them a look. And there's another quarterback out there doing the same thing. Anyway, the only reason to have him out there, I'm sure punishing him by wanting to trade and having all this happen to him off the field, that's caused a lot of embarrassment for the organization, not to mention they're rebuilding and may be the worst team in the NFL. They better hope he didn't get hurt like he did as a rookie when he threw a short pass, took a couple steps, and blew out his ACL. That's another reason, in my mind, he shouldn't be out there. But the bottom line on Watson, he's got a lot of things that have to be resolved. And as far as the exempt list allows you to be paid your base salary. Base salaries don't get paid until the regular season starts. So Roger Goodell could put him on the exempt list week before the season begins. Right now, he's part of the roster. He's out there every day, and we'll be watching every move he makes.
Absolutely. And again, I'm going to ask, although Watson is going to be the headline story until he's not, but anybody else standing out? I mean, the besides the Watson distraction, is there anybody that has surprised you early on in camp?
Well, it's 2 days. There's no pads, so they can't hit anybody.
So they look good in underwear.
They look good in underwear. So I watch quarterbacks, receivers, and guys who are running routes, running backs, tight ends, guys who are covering them. The receiver they just acquired from Chicago, Anthony Miller, in 2 days, he's learned enough of the offense where he's out there running every route. He looks great in his shorts and T-shirt. But until they play their first preseason game against Green Bay, we're not going to know for sure, because even when they put on pads in an NFL practice, they don't hit to take people to the ground. They try to keep you off the ground. They try to keep your body and your footballs off the ground. So we're not going to know till preseason comes what they have, if they're going to be the worst team in the league like everybody expects, or they might fool around and win 3 or 4 games and cost themselves a quarterback.
John McClain of the Houston Chronicle with us here on the Blitz. Through a couple of practices and with more and more access to players and coaches, the idea of David Coley as a head coach from when he was first introduced and everything that he's had to deal with, one, how do you think he's handled it? But two, your impressions of him as a head coach. I know he's got some other former head coaches on his staff to lean on, but first couple of days of camp, how do you think he's handling his head coaching debut, if you will?
Well, I've watched a lot of first-time head coaches, Bum Phillips, Gary Kubiak, a lot who've come through here. And one of the things that I like about Cully is his attitude. He's a really nice guy. He's really fired up to finally be a head coach. Nick Caserio, the GM, took a huge chance on him. Never even had an interview in 27 years as assistant coach, 17 with Andy Reid, who's his mentor. And Cully is Mr. Positivity. He's full of energy. He's 65. He acts 45. And I watched him today go up to players, put his arm around them, instruct them. And he said that's something, when they do something right, he wants them to know. And when they don't do something right, he wants them to know. But I would imagine a team going through the turmoil that they have, headed for maybe the worst record in the NFL, they need a guy like that instead of a guy that beats you down like Bill O'Brien.
Definitely true. John McClain of the Houston Chronicle. Always appreciate your time, sir. We'll talk to you next Thursday.
Jason, you enjoy all that really hot, humid weather out there while
John,
we're taking it easy, and it's 60 degrees.
John, it was 60 degrees this morning on the tennis courts here in Oxnard.
You didn't get your little legs didn't get cold.
Gosh, it's hot. But I did have a hoodie on, and I was kind of hoping somebody had a blanket laying around somewhere because that ocean breeze.
You come over here you won't have to worry about something like that. You get a little tan on those white legs.
It'll be a sunburn down there. And just so you know, tonight is Jerry Jones's media party out at Nobu in Malibu.
Wow. Well, you have fun at that party, Jason. I wish I were there with you.
John, always appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. John McClain of the Houston Chronicle. Yeah, Nobu tonight, Pledge.
Yeah.
Nobu in Malibu. So just to kind of give you a rundown, we're ending the show in 15 minutes, not so I can go to a party, because I think Greg Martin is still listening. I'm not just so I can make every second of this party down at Nobu in Malibu. And when we drove past that place the other day, when we went down to Malibu, there were like 2 Aston Martins sitting out front, a couple of Lamborghinis. I mean, Rudy thought we were at some high-end car rental place. No, that's Nobu. That's where we're going. It's incredible scenery. No, we're out early tonight because it's the NBA draft. And ESPN Radio's coverage of the NBA draft will start at 6 o'clock. And so, we've got to make way for the draft. Big night for the San Antonio Spurs. What do you think they're going to do in the NBA draft? Who do you want them to take at 12, or do you want them to trade that 12th overall pick? We will talk about that, and we'll announce our grilling with the Blitz winner as we continue here from Oxnard with our AA Best Bail Bonds Dallas Cowboys training camp coverage here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. If your brakes are bad, you need to get them fixed. Yes, you need to get them fixed for you, for me, for everybody else. If your brakes are bad, go to nubrakes.com. New Brakes. They're a mobile brake shop. They will come to you to fix your brakes. If you've been putting it off because you don't have time to go wait somewhere in a couple hours at some sort of shop, or drop your car off and go back and get it the next day, but none of us have time for that. Go to nubrakes.com. They will come to you, your home, your office, wherever you are. They'll fix your brakes while you continue to do what they do. New Brakes provides convenient and affordable brake repairs, and they only fix brakes. No upsells like at a traditional repair shop. Most jobs are done in less than an hour, and New Brakes only uses premium brake parts, and they back all repairs with a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty. Save 10% when you mention my name or ESPN when you schedule that repair at nubrakes.com. Your brakes get fixed, you continue to live your life. It's easy, it's convenient, it's affordable, and if your brakes are bad, you need to do it. New Brakes, they're great at what they do. Go read all those 5-star reviews and schedule your repair at nubrakes.com. That's nubrakes.com.
2 teams, 22 players, and over 100,000 screaming maniacs. Your home for Cowboys football on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Jason Minix here for my friends over at Edwin Watts Golf Shops to let you know it's time to tee it up at their grand opening sale. After being closed for 5 months. Remember that winter storm we had? They've been closed since then, but they're back open. They've weathered that storm, and now they're open and ready to serve you. You got to go check out their newly remodeled store. It's amazing. Features GC quads in every hitting bay. While you're there, check out new arrivals from all the top brands like Ping, TaylorMade, Titleist, and Callaway. Edwin Watts is packed with the largest selection of shoes, bags, balls, apparel, and more, and they have it in stock. And their highly knowledgeable staff ready to help you improve your game. So swing by their newly remodeled store and get custom fit for free. Edwin Watts is at 410 in Nacogdoches. And don't forget that Edwin Watts is the home of the 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee. And you can also shop them online at worldwidegolfshops.com. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, 410 in Nacogdoches, now open to serve you.
School's out for summer! But if your business is running QuickBooks, you'll never get a break. Their manual processes, integration difficulties, and glitchy delays will leave you scrambling for the numbers you need. Failing to graduate to NetSuite will leave you stuck in summer school while your friends party. NetSuite by Oracle is the #1 cloud financial system. No matter how big your business grows, with visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, e-commerce, and more, NetSuite is everything you need to grow, all in one place.
automate your processes with NetSuite and close your books in no time. 93% of surveyed businesses increase their visibility and control since graduating to NetSuite. Special financing is back. NetSuite is offering a one-of-a-kind financing program to those ready to graduate.
Head to netsuite.com/radar right now. netsuite.com/radar. netsuite.com/radar.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2021 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
Great news, Slackers! Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar is now opening at noon 7 days a week at all 4 area locations. North Star, St. Mary's, Slackadochis, and the Medical Center. Slackers is the home for 7-day-a-week happy hour, now starting at noon every day. And by popular demand, Slackers brings back the signature frozen drinks. Bring a date, bring a crew, or come on down solo. Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar serves you up all your favorites and quenches your thirst 7 days a week, starting every day at noon. Visit slackersbarssa.com for more info.
Our shoes have more miles on them than your car does. This is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Hey, this is Sarah Spain, and you're on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Kind of funny hearing that promo about the shoes and the miles. I'm not a big shoe guy. I think most of you guys know that. Rob is, Rudy is, Pledge is. I'm not. In fact, I used to really like my old Nike Air Dads. And
Is it Cowboys Training Camp that you stopped liking them, right?
Well, yeah, because Dale Hansen, who's retiring from WFAA, he was wearing some. So I said I had to get new shoes. Well, that was a couple years ago. And so now recently, a couple weeks ago, I needed new shoes because the ones I had been wearing, probably had them for 2 years at the very least, because I'll trade in cars before I trade in shoes. I mean, I hate shoe shopping, hate it. So what are these called? Hokas? Is that how you say it?
Hokas?
Yeah. So I'm wearing a pair of Hokas because when I went to go get new shoes, I was over at Dick's Sporting Goods and bought the shoes. But while I was in there, the people helping, I thought they were getting like an 80% commission on these things because they were just pushing them down my throat. And so I texted you guys because while they don't, I can't say they're really comfortable, right?
Yep.
So, and you know, do they look trendy? Do they not? So I texted you guys because it's, you know, it's for me, it's buying shoes is one of the most stressful things that I do. I just hate it. Right. So you guys are like, yeah, get them. They're great. So I'm out here and I see Babe Laufenberg is wearing the exact same pair of shoes. And Rudy J and I were talking about, man, look at that, man. Yeah, we're both wearing those. And he looked at me and says, yeah, they're comfortable, aren't they? And I was like, absolutely. And Babe Laufenberg literally said, you know, I've had 2 back surgeries. These are great. If they weren't comfortable, I wouldn't wear these. These things are ugly, which is kind of how I feel about them. The more I'm wearing them, that's kind of how they're comfortable, but they're kind of ugly. I don't know if I like them. When I look down and I see my shoes, I'm not sure that I like them. But my goodness, these things are comfortable.
But you got the stamp of approval, and you've yet to tell this. When Bryce Butler sat down with you yesterday off the air, and he started talking about your shoes, he was like, "Oh, are those Hokas?" And he was like, "Yeah, you know about them."
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I kind of glossed over that, but that might be the first time I've ever got complimented on my shoes. I mean, and honestly, I don't know if Bryce was being serious or not.
No, he said he wishes he packed his.
Well, yeah, that's true. You know, and I guess he did say that. Actually, I just totally glossed over. Dude complimented my shoes.
Yeah,
but but I don't know if I like them. I don't know if I like how they look.
See, you're not up on the trend, and that's kind of in right now. That look is in.
I don't know how long you've known me, Pledge, for the last 20 years.
Oh, I've known you, and I know
a damn about what the fashion trend was.
I'm aware. I'm just letting you know what's in.
I'm glad that
because if you've ever seen a pair of Balenciagas, they look like some air dads that have been put through a lawnmower and spray painted and kicked
I don't
up
even know
and
what
grass.
that is.
Exactly. But
I'm just saying.
it is an ugly shoe that they have refurbished, but it looks like an old worn out shoe.
Okay, good. I don't know. I'm not going to get one, or should I go get some since I'm trendy now?
I think you need more than one pair. You got to start bringing a shoe bag like Rob and Rudy.
Good Lord, no, man. You should see how those girls pack. It's ridiculous.
I'm aware. Granted, I'm one of them.
You showed up last year with a body bag, so you can't talk about anybody in the way they
pack.
No,
I'm aware. I had a body bag. I had a carry-on bag and a backpack.
NBA draft coming up. We have to give away, because we love to, a $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market. Grilling with the Blitz, normally at 6, but since we're out, we're doing a little bit earlier. We ask you all the time, you're grilling, submit a photo, you could win a $50 gift card. Put that photo at sasports.com. Submit it, give us a little bit of recipe, and every week we pick a new winner. And I don't know that we've done a tri-tip winner in, almost a year of doing this, but Lyndon posted a great tri-tip and sausage from Tri-County. That's incredible. I believe they, on 3351, so that must be from the Fair Oaks location. That's incredible. Well, Lyndon, congratulations. You get a $50 gift card, but it's good at the Huebner location. But congrats. If you're grilling this weekend, sasportstar.com, upload your photo, go under the win tab. You'll see it there. Win a $50 gift card. Upload your photo, and you too could win a $50 gift card from Tri-County Meat Market.
Stupid question. Is a tri-tip the same as a picanha?
No. Otherwise, it would say picanha.
Well, I don't know.
So a picanha is much more of like the sirloin cap, which is fantastic.
Okay.
Now, I don't get in early enough on Saturday. In fact, we get in stupid late on Saturday. But on Sunday, I'm going to fire up the grill, man. My Traeger called and said, "Where have you been? You okay?"
Something happened to you?
Something might have happened. But yeah, no, they're similar but different. But good beefy flavor. In fact, tri-tip, very brisket-like. In fact, here in California, tri-tips are very common. There's some restaurants here that actually sell tri-tip with their barbecue as opposed to brisket. I'm not a smart enough griller guy to give you the full explanation. There's Google for things like that. Sure. But tri-tip and picanha are very different. Pledge, my clock just went out.
It's cool. You got 30 seconds.
All right, got 30 seconds. All right. Did I mention we're going to Nobu tonight?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to get home back to the room in a state of mind where I'm not going to give a damn that it's our last night in that hell hotel, because tomorrow night we're at the Hilton in Los Angeles. R&R in the morning will happen tomorrow. Bets on whether Rob and Rudy actually make it, because we're going to Nobu tonight.
I've got to be here in the morning.
Well, NBA draft coverage next. Summer is all about the sunshine. Baseball's All-Star Game. Getting wet to cool off. And patiently waiting for football season to get here. Pass the time and win some summer cash. We're giving away $1,000 each weekday. Listen for the winning keyword at 710 1 4 and 6 and enter that keyword at sasportstar.com. Money to buy those season tickets you've been wanting to score.